今天给大家分享一套Valyn的赛前热身练枪方法，他已经保持这个练习几年了，并且认为这个方法对他的提升很大。整个视频的时长较长，包含了很多在练习中的细节，建议想要提升的同学收藏好慢慢观看。第一步，他会从简单的打靶开始，不会去扫射，只是做简单的射击，这样保持2-3分钟来让自己手热一点。
I'm just doing really basic movements, right? I'm not really doing anything crazy. I'm just letting myself warm up to the game right now. Right? And I just shoot around, and I'll do this for like, literally like 2 to 3 minutes because it's very easy. You're just shooting around. And yeah, that's just like the super basic step number 1. Step number 2.
第二步来到跟枪练习，在移动的时候保持你的准心在目标的头上。这里你可以尝试移动中更换目标，也可以用不同的武器来进行瞄准。这一步可以锻炼你对鼠标的掌控力。
You always want to make it as difficult as possible. I'll swap weapons because there's different movement speed, right? And I'll just try my best to trace the dots. And I'll swap targets like this. See? So I'm swapping targets. And what this is doing is it's helping your tracking within the game. So imagine you're like rounding an angle, right? Like when you're rounding angles or when you're trying to trace someone who's moving left, right, this is gonna help a lot.
接着你可以在瞄准的时候加入一些甩枪，这可以帮助练习你的移动和瞄准。
So after I start tracing the bots, I'm gonna do a little trace and flick. So a little bit of a trace, flick, or even a trace and just shoot the own bot. So I'm doing like 2 birds with 1 stone. You understand? And so this is gonna help with your flicks. It's gonna help with your movement. And what I mean by movement is like your stop and shoot.
然后是Valyn最喜欢的一个部分。他会打开100根目标淘汰，并且让机器人移动，从近、中、远3个距离瞄准机器人进行跟枪和射击。
And once I feel like my mid range is done, I'll start going close up, and I'll start tracking close and shooting. So I'll go close to the bot like this, track left, right, try to follow movement, be concise. I'm a little not warm right now either. Let's go to my actual crosshair. I'm a little unwarm, so my movement is not as concise. So I'm noticing that in my movement. So right now I'm going to try to be even more patient. Before I was doing a lot of like horizontal movements like this. Now I'm going to try to cut that and make as lowest amount of movements as possible. And that's going to help you have smooth aim. And once I do that a couple times with the bot up close, however distance you like, I shoot and I go next. So you notice with all these exercises, it's a lot of tracking and shooting.
Valyn也会用困难靶子来进行练习，主要是锻炼自己的反应和甩枪。
use the hard bots, and with the hard bots, the way I use them is just like reaction time and getting myself used to like flicking. It's just a warm-up. I wouldn't take it too literal, guys. A lot of people think too much about this mode and like, oh, I need a high score, or oh, I only got 15, I suck, or whatever the case is. But realistically, this is just to warm up your reaction time and some of your flicks. And I usually do this at the end of my routine just to kind of top it off. And likewise with the other exercises, I like to also go close. So I'll just pop my dash, hit the start, and I'll go close. And this is just training me for really fast movements, snap flicks. So when I'm in the game and I, get caught off unexpectedly, my eyes are trained to be quick on the movement. And when I'm warmed up, for me, I usually get around like 20. Sometimes if I'm feeling really good, I'll get over 20. But just depends. I wouldn't take the results too literally, but you can use it as a benchmark.
Valyn 建议之前的练习都能做个10分钟，然后就可以进入团队死斗进行练习。
So I showed you 3 exercises within the range. That's like 30 minutes. And now you're going to go into your team deathmatch and run like 1 TDM.
如果你是想要提升技术的话，你应该避免使用全自动的枪械。
I wouldn't recommend using any of the automatic like Stinger or Ares or Frenzy. You can go Classic or Ghost for the first round. I like to do Ghost, and I Sheriff, Vandal, and optionally you can Bulldog or Guardian, but for the sake of this video, we're going to go Guardian, all right? And then what we're going to be doing in the TDM is work on pre-aiming where the enemies are going to peak, okay? A common misconception with a lot of people aiming is like they put their crosshair right on the wall like this, but the person's going to be swinging a bit wider. So I'm going to practice putting my crosshair a bit wider than the wall, anticipating how they're going to peak. And then from there, you micro adjust. Oh my God. From there, you micro adjust using the techniques you just practiced on to make sure you hit the shot. So I'm putting my crosshair a bit wider, and I'm micro adjusting the flick.
最后来到团队死斗，这里Valyn主要练习预瞄和走位，他会使用不同的枪械来进行，以此来提升熟练度，并且他强调了大家要保持和比赛中一样的移动方式，不然就是没有意义的练习。
Okay, you're not putting your crosshair anywhere. You need to try to put your crosshair on common positions of how the enemy is going to peek you. So you're training your muscle memory come game time to just make it easy for yourself. Also, I'll swap guns around just to kind of get warm with everything. Practice spraying with different guns and just using them is important. So, I'll swap between Vandal, Phantom, pistols. Another thing you guys want to consider when you're especially doing death matches on like real Valorant maps, like a regular deathmatch, is you need to try to pre-aim according to how far the enemy can be. So, wow, that guy just got pooped on. Like, if I'm pre-aiming for an enemy these long range duels, right? Their movements are going to be much smaller on my screen rather than if I was practicing versus a guy strafing like very close to me. You understand? So the distance between the enemy is all relative to how you're going to approach your crosshair placement and your aim. So if someone is super close to you, like you're pre-aiming this guy, you want to aim wide like this. You want to aim wide out because the movement on his screen is going to be peaking like this. He's stopping like pretty wide out. You get me? Like this guy, I'm aiming wide here. Now, if it was an enemy very far away, right, then the peaks are going to be much closer. The crosshair placement is going to be a little bit less wide than if someone was closer. So that's a skill that you guys should train. And maps that are big, like Abyss or Breeze, are good maps to practice this on. Because the distances vary. And keep in mind, guys, as you're playing, practice your movement as well. Do movement that you know you're realistically going to do in your match or your ranked games. If you're doing too much strafing left, right, trying to be undodgeable, like unkillable, you're realistically not going to play like that in the match. Anyone can just left, right in a DM, but once you're actually trying to kill a player, much more difficult. Like I can just like tap and like I can just tap AD all I want. But if I know realistically I'm not going to be shooting like that, then there's no point. You're just wasting your own time. You're practicing like unrealistic shooting and movement. Now, I'm not justifying that you guys should just crouch spray every kill. You should work on your movement to become better, but try to keep in mind just how you're going to peak in the game and try to apply it here. But yeah, guys, that wraps up my warm-up routine for VCT matches or when I'm playing ranked. Just to recap, I think it's really important to do some sort of physical warm-up beforehand, get the blood flowing to your hands, start feeling like a little bit warm physically. I think that's important. Step 2, you're going to hit that range routine and you can adjust the time you want. You can practice each exercise for 10 to 15 minutes if you're looking to aim train. But if you're looking to just warm up and, get the feeling of aiming down, shorten that to like 3 to 4 minutes each sequence, hit your deathmatch, hit your TDM, and you're good to go.